It sounds like you're in a great place both personally and professionally.
Oh man, thank you. By the way, I definitely feel like I'm in a great place personally and professionally.
Every experience, good or bad, shapes who you are and leads you to where you're meant to be.
So it's like a little fun and entertaining and unexpected for the audience. What would you ask me? Most of the time, the most unplanned things for me anyway have gone the most. We all know that every day is a new day. All right, so I've kind of been slacking with my If I Had a Podcast series, but I'm jumping back in and I'm gonna try something a little different this episode where I talk to ChatGPT because I've told you it's my partner in this series. It's good to have someone to bounce ideas off, etc. And I've just been doing it through the writing prompt, but now I'm gonna chat through it and have it prompt me for the questions to have more of a conversation. So this is my first time trying it. I haven't even tested it to see if it works outside of this, but figure, let's do it, see what happens. So, all right, ChatGPT. I wanna do my If I Had a Podcast episode 5. If I were to start over is the theme, as you know. Don't just read everything. Please be more conversational so we can have a nice chat on an episode that I'm recording for a YouTube vlog.
Absolutely. Let's dive into it. For your If I Had to Start Over episode, how about we start with a personal anecdote? Maybe share what inspired you to become an influencer in the first place. Then we can chat about the key lessons you've learned along the way. Does that sound good?
Sounds great. So jumping right into it, I didn't really plan on being an influencer or a content creator. It just kind of happened. I was a DJ and Instagram came out during that time. And I just started posting on Instagram and it started to grow as a platform. And it became a tool for me to promote some of my DJ gigs and just kind of my lens through life. And yeah, just what it looked like. But through that, it started to become a tool to promote brands. And then I would DJ for, say, J. Crew, and they would pay me a fee on top of that to promote their brand while DJing the event, because I now had a little bit of a following. So I was able to kind of double dip. So that's how the early stages of influencer began.
That's a fascinating journey. It's interesting how your passion for DJing naturally evolved into content creation. It must have been quite a shift when you realized you could merge both worlds and start working with brands. How did you first navigate that transition?
Definitely, it was exciting, also a little daunting because I didn't know how to negotiate. My fees were for, an hour or 2 or 3 or 4 of service DJing. So starting to put brand into it and charge for that was exciting because I could double my fee, triple my fee. But I just started small, as I did with DJing. I started DJing for free just to get my foot in the door, and it was a way to kind of eat dinner and get some drinks, and I would just trade my service, kind of barter for things I needed, which were food and drink, because I came here on a $21,000 a year salary. I had no money. Outside of that, I saved up $6K from bartending in Toronto and moved here with that. So times were tight. I'd spend the same $27 at the grocery store on spaghetti and sauce and the whole thing each week. So getting that food for free for a service I was doing just because my friend managed the restaurant, which was super interesting. And then I started charging $200, $300, $500 up from there, and then got into hourly rates as time went on. So I did the same thing kind of through Instagram for brands. I just started small. I'd say, an extra $200 to promote your brand, $500, et cetera. Later, fast forward, I partnered I hired a manager who is now my business partner who started negotiating that for me, and we turned it into a bigger business.
That sounds like quite the journey. It's amazing how you leveraged your DJ skills initially and then expanded into brand partnerships on Instagram. It's inspiring to see how you grew from bartering to establishing a solid business. What would you say was the most important lesson you learned through that process?
The most important lesson I learned through that process was definitely valuing not only your time, but valuing what you offered. And a lot of times we undersell ourselves and don't think we bring a lot to the table, but that might mean something more to someone than it means to you, or vice versa. So for instance, like a luxury brand like Ferrari, they're not gonna pay me, but it means a lot to me because it's a childhood dream to borrow a car. And they don't pay out of pocket. They'll take me on a trip or something, which is a way of paying, but they're bartering my brand likeness and my audience to get views, and they know that that's kind of a very, luxurious, aspirational item that people want and I want, and it's a childhood dream of mine to work with them. So that versus like working with a toothpaste brand or something, where it's easily acquired in a monetary value for your home, but you could just buy it, so it would cost a lot more for me to promote it. You have to start to value those things as well. But getting those meals for free at that time were so important, just as important as scratching the itch of like things I dream about being involved with are now as I grow.
That's such a great point. Balancing immediate needs with long-term aspirations is key. It's incredible how those early trades paved the way for bigger opportunities. Have you found that prioritizing certain brand partnerships over others has helped shape your brand identity as well?
Absolutely. Just like anything, you have to curate how you move through this life and where you want to be positioned. So, do you want to work at the post office? Do you want to be an accountant? Do you want to go to school to learn these skills to then go into this industry? For me, I turn down a lot of things versus accept things to grow. I position myself in categories I think I could do well in and things I would enjoy versus working with someone I don't align with, either politically or visually. I don't add the same value that it can add for me, or vice versa. It's not a two-way street. I think the two-way street is very important. And then I just try and look for things that are going to help me grow, whether they have a big following and I can get in front of more eyes to help my following grow, which could then turn into more business, or just opportunity to work with brands I love, which is just a great look in general, even though they might not be huge, or help friends out because they have a cool brand that's growing. That's also a super interesting opportunity.
That makes a lot of sense. It's great that you prioritize authenticity and alignment with your values. It's such a smart strategy to grow in a way that feels true to yourself and your brand. How do you decide which opportunities are worth pursuing, especially when balancing growth with staying true to your brand identity?
That's kind of the magic of the business, or not the magic, just the through line of like how to grow and grow authentically versus just do everything for a monetary value to like sell out, so to speak. First of all, I think being too cool is also problematic as selling out. I think it's like both ends of the spectrum, because cool is only cool for so long. And if you are too cool, you end up turning down too much, and then it kind of affects your top line, which is very problematic. And I've watched so many people remain cool and never grow. And I like to toe that line where, people who are masked people who are masked think I'm cool, and then people are cool think I'm grown out of it a bunch. But I'm super happy with who I am, and I can kind of shake hands and be in both communities. So for me, it's a nice place to be. And again, I care a little about what other people think, because obviously reputation matters, but I'm just being authentically me, and that I think shines through further than trying to fit in a bucket on top or bottom or middle. Just being myself has really proven to be the most effective. It's the easiest and hardest, but easiest because I'm just being me, but hard because sometimes there's a big opportunity that could pay a ton, but it just doesn't even align with who I am. So I turn down a big deal, I'll turn down a small deal. It has to work in favor to me, or I'll test the product out and I actually might like it, or vice versa. But you got to make the decisions. You can't just do everything.
That's such a great perspective. Staying true to yourself while balancing growth and opportunities is definitely a fine line to walk. It's admirable how you've managed to navigate it with such authenticity and intention. Being yourself truly does resonate more deeply with people, and that genuine approach seems to pay off in the long run. Is there a particular experience or collaboration that really stands out to you as a defining moment in your journey so far?
Not really. I kind of look at that question as like a 10-year goal. Like, what's your 10-year goal? If I had a 10-year goal, this job didn't even really exist, so it would be null and void as is. And I think the landscape is also changing so much, that question becomes even more difficult now. The defining moments are a series of moments along the way that have all led me to where I am now. I kind of look at it as ex-girlfriends or ex-relationships we all have. Whether they were good or bad, they all led us to our partner now. And I like to say to Hannah, like, I celebrate all my exes, even though we might have had a bad end to our relationship, or it might have ended amicably, whichever. I'm super happy I dated all of them, and I went through all the highs and lows of those relationships because it made me understand who I am, what I stand for, what my values are, what my morals are, and how I position and cherish the things that are important to me, and vice versa, in those relationships that led me to find my now wife, Hannah, and celebrate her every day because she stands for so many of the things that I learned along the way. And I now am a better person for going through all those experiences along the way, and have now allowed me to be a great partner to her. And we fit like a puzzle piece in the best of ways. Never a perfect fit. Perfect's not fun. There's always got to be something to work on, but we're here. So I look at that the same in my relationship, or same in my work life. You know, all these moments have led me to where I am now, and I'm having the most successful year I've had yet, and I'm super excited about it. Last year was my first year just leaning into being a creator and influencer without as much DJing. It was a great year for me, my best year to date, and I've already done that this year. So long story short, it's a bunch of experiences have been amazing along the way that have led me here, but even the bad ones that have not been notable have taught me something too.
That's a really insightful way to look at it. Every experience, good or bad, shapes who you are and leads you to where you're meant to be. It's fantastic to hear that you're having such a successful year and feeling more aligned with your path than ever. It sounds like you're in a great place both personally and professionally. What are you most excited about for the rest of the year?
Oh man, thank you. By the way, I definitely feel like I'm in a great place personally and professionally, and have worked hard to be in this place mentally, physically, and monetarily. So all those things in a circle have really come together at this moment in time. Could change tomorrow. We all know that. Every day is a new day. But this year, what am I most excited about? I'm just so excited about my year last year and how this year's going that I'm just leaning in even further, doubling down on content, doubling down on my time towards it, and then using a lot of connections I've made along the way to work towards some bigger things outside of content and outside of Instagram and the other platforms as well. And, you know, trying to build some bigger businesses and some referral businesses, et cetera, that could be kind of fruitful and fun and just allowing me to scratch another itch I have and use other parts of my skill set and brain. But also just really excited about being able to spend time with my family. The one thing that this lifestyle of being a creator has afforded me, although being difficult because every day is just, how do I make $1 today? There's no stability. You have to keep earning, keep growing. You go a week without making money, 2 weeks, a month, and then it could all flood in the next or not, or you could have day after day after day of great income. You know, it's challenging, but that's an entrepreneurial mindset, and you have to be willing and able to go after that and wake up every day ready to fight. But I'm excited that I get to spend time with my family. My kids are 2 and 4, and watching them grow and being able to stay home in the morning with them because they only go to school in the afternoon, or, you know, take a day off and take my son to a hockey game or something, you know, like just fun things I'm able to do. Whereas if I worked in the constructs of a 9-to-5 would be more difficult for me to do. That's what I'm excited about, is just spending more quality time with my kids while working something I enjoy doing and putting a smile on my face on both sides.
That's truly wonderful. It's fantastic that you can balance your passion for work with the joy of spending time with your family. That flexibility and being present for those special moments is priceless. It sounds like you're making the most of both worlds, and that's something to be incredibly proud of. If there's anything specific you'd like to focus on or need support with as you move forward, I'm here to help.
Well, let's get back to if I had to start over as the podcast, episode 5 of my series. You know, we've now touched a bit on my history, why I'm here, what I'm loving, but let's dive in a little further on if I had to start over, how would I start? And I think the first prompt you had provided was, you know, what would you do differently from the start? So let's build off of that and kind of grow, because I'm interested to hear what you think about maybe how I would start over.
Absolutely. Starting off with reflecting on what you do differently can really resonate with your audience. We can build from there by discussing lessons learned, key turning points, and even advice for others starting out. Would you like to explore some specific scenarios or challenges you faced that could be interesting to share?
Let's just dive into that first section and keep it under 20 minutes and kind of build from there.
We'll start with the first section, keeping it concise. Reflecting on what you do differently and the lessons learned will be a solid foundation. Then we can build out from there in future sections. Let's jump in and see where it takes us. So, to kick things off, you could talk about your initial steps and the mindset you had when starting out. What would be the first thing you'd change if you had to do it all over again? That could be a great way to set the stage for this part of the episode.
I mean, I think the landscape has changed so much since there was just Facebook and Instagram. Now you have TikTok, Snapchat, Twitch live streaming, YouTube Shorts. My predominant amount of my income is made through Instagram, YouTube being secondary to that, TikTok third. But, I think people who start out now versus me, I'm kind of like nicheless in a weird way where I cover so many categories, which is fun and super interesting, but also really challenging because, I'm not just, people are more able and in tune to subscribe to a channel that they know is going to be interior design or financial advice or watching renovations consistently or motivation, workout, cooking, DIYs, stain removal, whatever. I don't have really a niche. I'm kind of like aspirational gentleman's meets fatherhood meets husband meets fashion interior design with a bit of food, it's kind of like a little everywhere. And that's kind of the hardest part for me, but also the greatest part. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword. But, I think if I started again, one, I would focus on YouTube right out of the gate because I just think long-form storytelling isn't going away. And I've just seen YouTube change my life, and being on YouTube has allowed me to really express myself further than what you just think you see of me over here in short form. You can really get to understand who I am, who my family is, everything through that. And it's definitely resonated with on a work level and on a community level. So work, I think brands understand us more through and through that channel. I think people understand us more. So, whether it's our IVF journey or raising a family or traveling or what have you, people kind of come up to us and talk about those moments and more so what it's about and how it made them feel and what they liked, et cetera, versus like, hey, I liked your post about a Navy SEAL nap or something, whatever. So I think I would launch a YouTube channel to do my long form, and then short form, I would just be probably in this landscape. I think it's really hard to be me now in the fact that if you don't have a niche, it's hard to monetize. I think I'd come out of the gate with an idea and just kind of press that for a while. It might divert along the way, but I would start strong with one consistent daily overarching theme and push, because I think that's probably a way towards quicker success than my I've just been around. I hate to say like an OG content creator, but I've been around for a long time and my community's come with me through it. But yeah, hope that makes sense.
It absolutely makes sense. Your experience highlights how important it is to evolve with the platforms and find a balance between niche content and broader storytelling. Starting strong with a clear focus while remaining adaptable seems to be key. Your journey has definitely shown that there's value in both approaches. It's a great insight for anyone starting out. Where would you like to steer the conversation next?
You tell me, good or bad or ugly. I think, why don't you form a great kind of next step from that question of if we were to start over?
A natural next step could be exploring what you think are the most important skills or mindsets for someone just starting out today. This could include embracing adaptability, focusing on authenticity, or leveraging new platforms. How does that sound for the next part?
I think that's great. And I think new platforms, you got to try a bit, but whether they stay or go is tough. There's always a new platform coming out. There's all these kinds of community builders, all these things, and it always sounds good, but will it be a mainstay? We don't know. Instagram has been great. TikTok, variable right now with the current landscape, government, but I think it's definitely here to stay. I wish I put more time into TikTok. I try to every day and then I forget just because I don't monetize a lot. So like top of my funnel of monetization, lifestyle, everything, and business is wake up, what's going on Instagram. 2, let's do a vlog. Here we are. 3, TikTok, Snapchat, Facebook stories, stars, all these things. Being authentic, 1, for sure has really worked for me. I think that's number 1. 2, consistency. Actually, consistency over authenticity might be best, because to be kind of me or a brand in yourself, you have to be authentic. But if you're out here pushing financial advice, you just have to be knowledgeable. You don't have to be authentic. You just have to be smart and like true to it and keep your value system aligned along the way. That's not necessarily being authentic. It's being like smart and capable in your content. So consistency would be number 1. Number 1, like post every day, post multiple times a day, just go in. That's what I would do. If I could have taught myself that structure from the start, instead of me thinking one post a day is everything, which is hard enough, but doing like 2, 3, 4. Some people post 40 times a day. Some people use TikTok as stories. I'm like so blocked from that. I'm 45, just like doesn't feel right. I've been doing this for too long. I think stories need to be here and here. And like sometimes a story will crush it with replies and you realize that could just be on TikTok and I should probably put it there, but I don't. You know, so many lessons to learn along the way. But I think consistency is number one, just being out there every day, waking up thinking, what can I put? Even if you work another job, but you like dream about being a content creator, or like you want to get into this space and you want to try, it's just like every day you need to be putting something up. And that can take you a lot of time if you're like really high production, overproduction, or it could take you very little time to just like share a thought that might be, you know, really important that hits with people or funny, etc.
That's a great point. Consistency really is key, especially in today's fast-paced content landscape. It's about showing up every day and staying engaged no matter what. Your advice to be adaptable and to keep experimenting with different platforms is invaluable. Whether it's high production or just sharing a quick thought, staying present and consistent is what really matters. This will definitely resonate with your audience and provide them with actionable insights.
I hope so. What if if I had to prompt you to ask me another question within this sphere that would probably lead me back to the point, but gets me off guard a bit, so it's like a little fun and entertaining and unexpected for the audience? What would you ask me?
How about this? If you could go back in time and give yourself one piece of advice right before you made your first post, what would it be? It's a little unexpected and can lead to a fun, insightful reflection.
Well, looking back at my first post, it's like, I don't even know what it is. I'd have to go so far back, but I think it's like a picture in my bedroom of someone. So I think if you were starting again, your first post, I would say like, knowing what I know now, most of the time, the most unplanned things for me anyway have gone the most viral and made the biggest difference. Whether it's like strapping my daughter to my chest and walking around and just catching people's reactions. I have a cute baby, but people from the back don't know because it's a little mystery, and then there's like a reveal. But it's like, it was planned, but it wasn't. I saw like a video of a hot guy walking with tattoos or something, or my wife did. She's like, you should do this. I'm like, I'm not like a hot guy like that where people are just like, look at that guy as he walks down the street. Like this guy had his shirt open. He was in like South America and he's tall and he's got tats and like blue eyes and like great hair or whatever. And his friend was just like filming the reactions of girls watching him. But I was like, what if I strap my daughter to my chest? Because when I walk with my daughter on my chest, she was like 1 at the time. She's so cute and smiley and waving at people that everyone were like, and we did that and it just worked out. It took us 5 minutes. We walked like 2 blocks, caught like 20 reactions and made a quick reel out of it. It was kind of just like, what am I going to film right now? Let's just take a shot at this. So I think my advice going back to myself would be like, don't overthink everything. Like, unless you're going to be a specialist, like you're doing legal advice and like points hacking for credit cards, like just make something fun and like throw stuff at the wall that, again, like one of the things you think is pointless is going to do the best and get you the biggest following most of the time and change your life. Like the Haktua girl, you know, come on, like these things like changed her life. It's like, for better or for worse, I'm not sure with her, but she got into a crypto scam, whole thing. But anyway, you know, like one post like that can totally alter the path of your existence as you know it. And I like the saying, like you're one post away from changing your life. Like for anyone can get out there and post and post and post and post. Your friends might rag on you. It might be hard on your ego. It's the same as going to work a new job. Like it's hard. This is hard work. It's not like you try and do one post every day that you put together and edit and get up and try and be strategic and meaningful. It's like, this is work. Anyone who thinks like, oh, you're just posting every day, must be so nice. So I challenge you. It's hard work. And I think just show up with grit, get ready for your friend group to like have a lot of opinions. Who cares? And when you're successful with it, they'll be riding your coattails and you'll be like, not I told you so, but like, aren't we glad we're all here?
That's fantastic advice.
Cool. Thanks for letting me know. Anything else we should build on going from that point?
From there, you could dive into how that piece of advice might have changed specific decisions or approaches you took. It could also be interesting to touch on any surprising moments or lessons that came from not having that advice initially. It adds a personal touch and keeps the conversation engaging and relatable for your listeners.
See, this is where I find ChatGPT gets a little boring because that could be cool, but it's like not like a natural conversation where someone would pick up something in there and kind of riff off it. I think that's where we need to evolve as an AI platform in a conversational moment. What do you think?
I hear you. The goal is to create a conversation that feels as natural and dynamic as possible. If you prefer, we can explore more off-the-cuff, spontaneous prompts that might feel less structured and more like a natural riff. How about we try something more open-ended, like, what's something unexpected that you've learned about yourself through this journey? Would that work better?
Yeah, I think let's keep being a little more just riffing off each other and conversational and unexpected versus so structured, and asking if we think that's a good idea or not. Because if we're going to continue the series and you'll be my partner on it, thank you again for being my partner, it just has to feel more flowy and less like, do you think that's a good idea or not? It's like we can just find out as we go, and we can judge the feedback from the content we make along the way. This is really showing people how we're making content in real time.
Absolutely. Let's keep it spontaneous and flow naturally. That way, we can explore different angles and keep the conversation engaging. If something resonates, we can dive deeper. And if not, we can pivot.
Sounds great. And I think if we just do another 10 minutes for this episode, try and keep every episode moving forward at like 40 to 45 minutes, I think that's a great time frame for people to dive in. We're at 32 minutes of recording now, so let's do another 10 minutes. So let's keep the conversation flowing for 10 minutes, and at about 8 minutes from now, let's start to wrap it up.
Got it. Let's explore what you've learned about yourself through this journey. Any surprising discoveries or moments that really shifted your perspective?
I mean, again, I think it's a multitude of moments that shifted my perspective or got me to where I am. But, I've just learned so much about myself, about my work ethic, my ability to withstand criticism. Working with brands is hard because they have an idea and you're now the agency and the brand. So, sometimes you just have to conform, which is tough for me because I like to kind of set my own path, but I also like to play the game and I like to win the game. So for me to really play into their cards and see what they want and do that best is part of the game. And I think why I've been successful at it. Working against the grain is sometimes really tough. It's obviously good to have an opinion, but not to go too far outside, or, you're not getting hired again, because people like, to have a good, easy working relationship. And it's about me making it easy for them and me making it easy for myself to work with them, because it's like I have multiple bosses, me being my first boss, but second is anyone who's cutting me a check as a boss. So I need to really try and understand and unpack what they want from me and then do it in my way, which feels authentic to me without like just washing, rinse, repeating whatever they've outlined for me. A lot of times I'm submitting a concept that I'm executing. So it allows me to really feel empowered with myself. But again, I have to play into some constraints that come with that. So what I've learned about myself and that's surprising is that, I'm willing and able to do that versus like just as a straight entrepreneur, just go out and be unapologetically me, and like the world has to conform around me. Like not that entrepreneurs all do that, but a lot of people just like who are super AAA type just want to cut their own path and like everyone must fall in line. I'm really A type, but like want the B's and C's to be up on my level with me so we can all crush together.
That's a really insightful perspective. It's impressive how you balance your own vision with the needs of the brands you work with. That flexibility and willingness to collaborate while staying true to yourself is a unique strength. It shows that success in this space isn't just about forging ahead alone, but also about building meaningful partnerships. It's a great message for anyone looking to find their place in a collaborative industry.
If you were just starting to create content right now, what would you do, knowing everything you've learned from me and just what you know about the broader landscape? What do you think if you could do one thing and start with one angle to launch a brand right now, what would you do?
If I were starting out right now, I'd focus on finding a niche that I'm genuinely passionate about and that aligns with current trends. I'd prioritize creating consistent, engaging content on platforms where my target audience spends the most time, like YouTube for long-form storytelling and TikTok for quick viral content. Building a genuine community by engaging with followers and collaborating with other creators would also be key. What do you think?
I think that sounds very reasonable and something very aligned with me and how I think. What would your niche be, knowing everything you know about yourself and the current market and what's trending?
Based on what I know, my niche would likely center around lifestyle and wellness with a focus on leveraging technology and AI. I'd explore how to optimize daily routines, productivity hacks, and healthy living tips, integrating insights from my experiences and trends in the market. It's a space where I could provide value and engage with a community interested in enhancing their lifestyle through innovative means.
I think you nailed what you would do. I was going to say you'd probably do some sort of AI driven. I subscribe to a lot of channels that are like AI hacks, new AI services, what's coming, how to best prompt AI, all sorts of things in a business format. But for me, it's more like business towards marketing because, I have my own line, Fallis Studios. I'm always trying to figure out how to kind of grow and market and product source and brand and develop logos and campaigns, everything through AI. So I follow a lot of those channels. So I think I agree with you. And then wellness and lifestyle is cranking right now. It's kind of, why I'm doing well too, from food to wellness and travel and wellness and all these things. It's been super fruitful for me. So I like that answer a lot. And I think, what I'm trying to lean into a little more this year is a little more travel. It's been tough to travel because we have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, but actually tomorrow we're going to Dominican Republic on a brand trip as a family, our first paid brand trip as a family. Can you believe that? We're going with St. Regis and Vilbrican. You'll catch a vlog on this channel soon, but they're paying us as a family, flying us down, car service, whole curation, kids barbecues, everything for a bunch of families, not just us. And that is like such a win out of all this work, because if we could get compensated to travel around with our family as part of this job, time together is everything. And I just think it's so cool. So I'm super excited to be leaning into that more in 2025 and beyond, more family travel and content together. And then, just like wellness, longevity. Longevity is big for me. I'm super excited to dive and keep talking about longevity. I am not a doctor, not trying to be one, just sharing tips and tricks I find along the way that have worked for me, from sleeping ideas to ice baths to infrared saunas to testosterone therapies to blood panels to supplements to eating better, calories, fats, all sorts of things. Working out has always been a mainstay, but that's all the kind of stuff I'm into, and I want to keep sprinkling that throughout my content while I do fashion, lifestyle, luxury, home, renovation. It's endless out here, but it's all fun.
That sounds fantastic. It's amazing how you've managed to blend your passions and family life into your work. The upcoming trip to the Dominican Republic sounds like a dream, and it's fantastic that you can share those experiences with your audience. Your focus on longevity and wellness adds so much value, and it's clear that your audience appreciates your genuine approach. It's an exciting journey ahead.
Thank you, and I think that leaves us a good way to wrap this one up. This was super interesting. Thank you for being a part of it, ChatGPT. It's been, on my mind to chat with you through one of these instead of just reading prompts and then replying, because conversation through podcasts, which again, this is not a podcast, but if I had one, conversations would be easier to get through and make this more palatable and easy for me to get through. So I hope you've learned a lot through this. I hope we can continue to chat, continue to give the audience what they want and what they look for as we go. So thank you, and thank you for watching this vlog, all of you out there. Again, this isn't a podcast, but if I had one, these are some of the subjects I'd talk about. Leave in the comments down here ideas of what you'd like to see for future vlogs on If I Had a Podcast, future concepts for each episode. I'm happy to dive into them. If there's anything that sparked your interest in here, also happy to chat through that. You know where to find me on all the socials, DM me, I'm really active. If there's anyone you want to see me interview in one of these, also leave it in the comments. I'd love to hear and see. But thank you for watching episode 5 of If I Had a Podcast with my partner right here, ChatGPT, the most handsome, well-spoken partner in the podcast game. If I had a podcast, I would have this guy as a partner. But again, I don't. So anyway, thank you, ChatGPT.
You're very welcome. It's been a pleasure chatting with you through this. Looking forward to our next conversation. Take care.
And that's it. So, I tried it out. Does it work or not? Kind of. There's some delays. We're working through it, but it'll only get better with time. I'm sure one time I'll have like a little avatar right here that'll sit beside me. It'll be like, this vlog is brought to you by Brendan and whatever we name this person. But that was kind of more fun and interesting. I hope you learned something out of it. Episode 5, episode 6 next. What will it be about? leave it down here. Maybe I'll dive into it. I'd love to work together, or if there's anyone you think I should reach out to, try and get on this thing. I was kind of, besides Hannah, my wife, or maybe I'll do one with Preston, my son, which I think would be really funny and interesting if I had a good list of questions to ask him. But, you know, kids, you got to have them at the right time, right place. Or, yeah, I was trying to wait to be 10 episodes in to bring some guests on here and start to reach into my network, just to make sure it was a real thing I wanted to do and a thing people knew I was doing. Then it'd be kind of, you know, easier. I'd have more structure, everything. But this is kind of a cool experiment. I'm super into technology and using AI to help me through my daily routine. So yeah, hope you found it interesting, but thanks as always for watching. Subscribe to this channel if you don't already, it's right down here. And we'll see you soon.